Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga-Texas construction update video. On my 17 October video, I showed you this setup over on the east parking lot. You can see the bales of hay, some of the vehicles, a few of them crash tested, Cybertrucks. We see the original Model Y with the horns on it, a orange roadster, and a semi-truck. This was all in preparations for the annual Halloween event that's open up to the employees. It's called Frunk or Treat. And we got a chance to see some of the images from the actual event. Here they are. Nice Cybercab with the skeleton inside, the bats on the exterior, some Cybertrucks with the Ghostbusters theme, and a lot of neat lights going on. Of course, Optimus was there showing off his Halloween costume. And the back of a Cybercab was kind of the rest in peace kind of display with nice lighting on the front. And I think from what I understand, the employees had a really great time. And again, this is an annual thing we've seen over the last several years, and it seems to be also getting more popular and growing in size. And here's just a few other images from that event that people posted from Giga-Texas. And again, I think it was really a really amazing event. I'm glad that they do this. It's just a way for the employees to kind of take a little bit of a relaxation from all of the work that they've been doing and just enjoy showing their families and their children some of the work that they do here out at Giga-Texas. So anyway, that's what was going on over on the east side, and just a few images of how that event went. So I hope that you enjoy that. Coming up later today at 4:30 p.m. Central Time, 5:30 Eastern Time, there's going to be the third quarter financial results meeting. If you go to the ir.tesla.com site, you can participate. Also coming up very soon is the annual shareholders meeting. That's going to be on the 6th of November, and already invitations are being sent out to individual shareholders to attend. Now, this is going to be a critical shareholders meeting. Not only are there many different items up for vote, including the CEO compensation package, but also maybe some demonstrations about the Optimus 3. Now, you can vote online several different ways. Make sure you do so. The link on the bottom of the screen is where you need to go. Okay, so let's get into the drone. Let's fly around and see what Giga-Texas looks like today.
If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description.
If you are considering purchasing Starlink, I would recommend that you use my referral link at the bottom of the screen.
Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you.
My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga-Texas. Well, welcome back to another day here at Giga-Texas. And as you can tell, we are starting out today on the east side above the East Warehouse on Wheels. Also at the bottom left, you can see these kind of open top trailers with materials. That's where they are recycling some of the stamping machine scraps from the stamping machines in the southeast corner of the main factory. Now here at this material staging yard, we can see that glass being stored here. Also a lot of pipe segments, some of which are being used in the south extension. But I also wanted to take the opportunity to come back and look at this clearing that is being made just on the east side of Robotic Avenue. And since the last flight, we can tell that there has been even more trees that have been kind of pulled down, and they are continuing to widen out this area. Also looks like there's a bulldozer heading off into the trees of what would be the extension of River Road through the tree area and around over towards the cathode plant. On the ground, we can also see trenching some of that red concrete on top of what would be electrical conduits, and more work here where this intersection is going to be made. Looks to me like it's going to be a three-way intersection connecting to River Road on the left, Robotic Avenue on the right, and then through the tree line just below the drone. And as I look back to the southeast part of the factory, this should give you a pretty good idea of where we are talking and what part of the site we are looking at. And of course, it looks like the River Road is going to be expanded as well. While I'm here, I also thought I would take a look at the recycling yard, which handles all kinds of materials from wooden crates to car parts. Directly ahead in the center of the screen is where the trucks are weighed on that large scale next to that light post, and the two kind of structures with the tan roofs is where they have bins for much of the materials. Also at the middle of the screen here is some workshops that have been used to manufacture and also modify a lot of those large pipe segments that we saw in that material staging yard, that some of which are being used in the south extension of the building. As we fly along here, this is where the trailers for many of the construction companies have been located. There's fewer and fewer over time. Many of those are on the upper left of the screen. This large kind of hill has been used for concrete and also dirt kind of storage, as it's been brought up from around the site and then put over here, most of which needs to be recycled away from the rest of the dirt that they use for grade and around the construction sites. As we continue to fly to the north, we can see some of the kind of outshoot of the Colorado River on the left. Most of it's onto the right, but it makes this bend around in the trees. And then further to the north is this large field that I've been calling Lone Tree. And we know that there's permits for eventually putting the new Harold Green Road through this area. But today I noticed that there are some steel corrugated pipes at the bottom of the screen, usually for water management systems. And also we see a bunch of trees and vegetation next to a casting rack, about 3 of them here on the ground. So I'm not sure exactly what they are doing, other than maybe using this to store some of the broken up trees and maybe some other materials. This also could be indicating that they're moving it or getting ready to move it from certain other places around the site to prepare for a future construction, or maybe just tightening these up. Here at the bottom of the screen on the left, we can see some of those wooden crates that are being prepared for recycling. Also, all that concrete is what was torn up for the south end extension. This is also the rental equipment lot and maintenance section of the site. As we fly over these linear hills and ponds, which is what's left over from the old sand and gravel mine, we get to this large field, and we can tell that much of the concrete here on the ground is put down mostly for anti-mud control, and a lot of this concrete also came from the south end extension as well. You see a lot of the materials, also many casting racks that are being stored up in this part of the site. As I turn back towards the south, not only can you see more of these materials and the concrete on the ground for that mud control, but in the top of the screen you can see where Giga-Texas is in relation to where we are flying. Now, there is a lot more materials and some equipment that is being prepared for recycling up in this location. Much of this is the materials that we've seen brought in, stored on the west staging yard, and then moved into the factory for unpacking and assembly into the new production lines, and then it's brought up here for future recycling. I think they just needed to clear out a lot of the space because of the volume of material. This is also where much of the dirt is being kind of excavated out of this location and then taken over to around the Cortex new facility for doing the raising of the grade and doing other preparation for future construction. And you can see that in the upper right-hand side of the screen. As we come back into the northeast side of the battery cathode plant, we can see that the green transformers are still here, really haven't been changing much. The only place that's been changing is the far southwest side, where almost all of the transformers are gone, but these are still being stored here for right now. As we pass over the weigh pit to the crash testing facility, I'll go ahead and zoom back in, and there is a new change, and it has to do with the Cybercabs. You can see 5 of them now with these multicolored car covers, and also the one in the center by this trailer. You can see the underside of the front hood and the front bumper. For some reason, those have been removed from that vehicle that is under the cover. There's also some more work going on inside the crash testing facility on the north end. As I keep the zoom in and maneuver around to the west side, you can tell that there's a large crate that's being unpacked, it appears. More vehicles that have been crash tested on the left, and a vehicle under wraps that looks like it's getting ready for recycling. There's also another Cybercab in that black covered next to that silver one, which looks like it's on some sort of a dolly or a way of moving that vehicle. And of course, we can see inside the south end of the crash test facility where the crash testing wall has been moved off to the side today. And also some more vehicles on the ground getting ready for recycling. So that's a good look at what's going on at the crash testing facility. Now let's go ahead and fly a little lower through the alleyway and see what is going on here between the die shop on the left and the battery cathode plant on the right. The big thing I look for is this chiller plant and the vertical vaporizers, and at least 2 of them show a lot of frost on them. So there is some level of production going on again on the inside. This is one of the structures that I would like to get in one of these days to see what the operations look like inside. And it's also one of the only ones I have not been in. The other is the die shop on the left-hand side of the screen. As we continue to fly over to the east side of the the Cortex 2 building, we see a lot of activity here with work on a perimeter grade beam. Many of the dump trucks lined up, picking up some dirt. Also excavation around where they're putting in this concrete pipe segment and vaults. This is going to help with the drainage, move that over to the large pond off to the right of the screen. And as I maneuver the drone around here, we can see some of the materials in the fenced off section at the bottom. More of those dump trucks getting loaded up with dirt to take off the site. Work inside for that ground slab. And through this door here, we can see some yellow of that moisture barrier, and some of the concrete has been poured on the north end. So it's getting close to having the entire slab completed. This is the west hallway. It runs 1 column width the entire length of the building. And this is at a higher grade. It matches what we see here with the black perimeter grade beam on the left. Also the vaults with more of the electrical conduit coming in from the electrical switch yard. I'm going to move the drone up here on top of the roof, look back to the west, and you can see 2 of the large conduit kind of banks that are in the process of being completed. One with that red concrete on it. Again, it signals that there is electrical conduit underneath the ground, so for future workers that may be excavating in the area. I also wanted to come back and show you that there's this strip on the roof that has had the weatherproof membrane pulled back for some reason, and it kind of follows the length of the building here, and also on the south end, the width of the building. Why they're doing this, I'm not really sure, but it's something that I will keep an eye on, and we'll see if maybe they're going to be installing some equipment in that area. As I continue to maneuver around back to the east side, heading to the south, this just gives you some idea of more of the equipment and materials underneath the green tarps. I also noticed that there were augers here getting ready to drill some more pile holes. This one is in the process of being prepared for drilling, and this one here looks like they're doing some sort of maybe like a geopier, where they put material in and then compact it down in for a pile or a pier. And I'm not sure why, but that'll be something I can look at in the next video and see if we can tell what else they're doing and how many more of those piles are being built. Here's the south side of that west hall. Looks like grading has been finished on this side inside the building. And this is a clearing that is being prepared, and the grade finalized, maybe for either more construction or some sort of concrete apron. The trailers here that used to be the temporary offices are now being dismantled. Most of them are being separated into their original parts, and they'll be moved off site. This is the new location for these temporary offices. You can see the safety in your size trailer that's been moved over here as well. And the Cybertrucks, the Roadster, and the hay bales are from that Frunk or Treat event that we talked about in the intro. And that was all held on this parking lot just underneath the drone on Saturday. As I continue to maneuver around, we can tell that they have a few more of the vehicles, the crash-tested Model 3 and the Model Y with the horns, and that kind of tent-like structure that they are getting ready to install. So pretty soon all of these trailers should be out of the way, and that'll allow for more construction to continue with what they're doing here around the electrical switch yard expansion. Now here we see some materials, disconnects, and V-type circuit breaker tops being stored. The perimeter fence itself is moving along very quickly, and you can see that most of the fencing material between the posts have been added on this side and the north. Some more of the materials staged here for the vertical assembly of the expansion, and then here's a great shot of more of the drilling for the footings, some of the steel items erected on the right hand side of the screen, some of those concrete slabs with electrical equipment and bases for the V-type circuit breakers here. Of course, many more footings and more of the steel on the left. I've had some eagle-eye viewers point out that the expansion is not precisely a mirror image. There are some slight differences, but I think it's very similar to what we see with the existing one. As I zoom in, this is a close look at the first of at least two of the transformers, and it looks like they are working on that catch basin now. Some of the wooden crates with the red tops are remaining here for unpacking. And the connecting tunnel between the two underground vaults is still open. We don't see any of the cabling through there. And as I continue to pull back, you can see more of the materials next to those V-type circuit breakers and all of the trenching that has been filled in here on the south side of those control trailers. As we kind of move our way back to the factory, I'm going to fly at this altitude over towards the northeast corner where we have the melt center, the baghouse filtration plant, and also that opening on the second floor through the window line that has had that temporary platform removed. And as we get in a little bit closer, we can see that in the last couple of days, not really much has changed here. Not sure what the plan is, but based on the fact that the platform has been removed, I would expect that the window line and that concrete wall panel should be replaced soon. There is a lot of activity with castings here. Most of those are for the Model Ys. And there's a lot of these here. Some of the racks are empty, but they will replenish those very quickly here with the casting machine section. The furnace loader on the left is what we're going to be seeing here on the right, and you can tell that it's now almost completed. It looks very similar. Also, I noticed earlier, just before I got this video, that another large truck was bringing in more of the aluminum wheels that are used in the furnaces to get the aluminum, and then they make the special alloys here for the castings. As we continue to fly to the north here, next to the power lines, we can see this casting sorting lot here on the north. And on this side closest to the drone is more of the older bumper stands for painting. So I'm going to maneuver the drone here on the north side of the factory and prepare to go over the highway. We're going to take a look at what's going on the west side of the main highway today. Here's the temporary lot for these transport trucks. At least we see some of them have been moved, and they've been using them to take many of the vehicles off-site. Probably over the weekend is when they are mostly used, but this is what it looks like right now. And you can see that fence around this kind of lot. And that guard shack here, which is where if you were doing to pick up your vehicle here for direct delivery, you would go through that shack. Now the light of the video came up a lot, and that's because in between a battery swap, the clouds parted and the sun came right through. So that gives us a great view here of the Vapco fans and base units, all the other material around that would support that installation, but once again, no real change. So I don't know how much longer it's going to be, but those have been here for several years now, waiting for their turn to be installed. This material staging yard continues to me, seem to be getting smaller and smaller as far as the amount of equipment and containers that are there. So I'm not sure if that's eventually going to be going away. As we get to the north end of the end-of-line facility, we can tell that Cybertrucks and Model Ys are being prepared to go through the end-of-line for processing. There's also vehicles arriving autonomously through those lanes. And of course, this is the direct delivery center. Looks like they're preparing for even more vehicles to be delivered to customers on the right. And you can also tell that a Cybertruck is a part of that. So it's not just Model Ys. You can get almost any vehicle delivered here at the factory. And great view across the highway to the beautiful flags in front of the west main entrance. I'm going to just sort of maneuver here around, give you a view of what the outbound lot looks like based on just the time between my last video and today. We can see that production has definitely come up significantly. A lot more vehicles in the outbound lot. As we pass over the wash rack, we see the work that's going on in the test track. And then here we see where they do that noise, vibration, harshness testing and these trailers. And also a very nice orange Cybertruck with Cybertruck on the tailgate. More vehicles are maneuvering over to the outbound lot for shipping, and you can tell that there's a lot of the transport trucks very busy here as well. Now, one thing I haven't really seen yet, and I don't know if they're making them here, are the performance Model Ys, but certainly they are continuing to make a lot of the Cybertrucks. As you can tell here, this is a lot more than we saw on my previous video. And a nice look across the supercharger tents back to that area with the flagpoles again. So I'm going to pull away, just give you a better idea of just what the outbound lot looks like today. And we'll continue to watch and see how it progresses the rest of the week. The transformers that are stored here really haven't changed much, although it does look like somebody is over looking at them right now, so maybe they're going to be ready to move. Here's some of the mobile superchargers at the bottom of the screen. We saw one of these over in the east lot for that Frunk or Treat event over the weekend. And then this is the lot that has some of the wooden crates and other materials that are associated with the 4680 battery production part of the factory. And as I pull away, we can just see more superchargers on the ground just underneath the power lines. And I'm not sure if those are going to be used very soon or not, but I'll keep an eye on that. More of the steel items stored here. As we mentioned before, a lot of that has been used for mezzanine construction within the factory to increase the overall production volume of the facility and allow for more of those production lines. These materials, still not much of a change. You can tell by the dust on top that they've been here for a while. And since they are segregated away from everything else, I just suspect that this is going to be a new part of the factory. And at some point, we're going to see them all move in. And hopefully, that'll give us a clue of what this is for. We did see all of these concrete vaults being moved over here on my last video. It looks like they've gotten a few more in storage. Of course, many of the crates on the right. And here is where the transformers have been moved off-site. Now, there's only about 18 left here. That's significantly less than what we saw before. And I don't know if we're going to see the rest of these leaving the factory soon, but I'll keep watching for that. More of the rack systems here for castings being stored, and many more of the wooden crates waiting to be moved into the factory. And you can even see some trailers with the broken down crates nearby. The steel corrugated pipe indicates we're going to see another water management system installed somewhere on this part of the site. They're just getting the materials ready for when that happens. I'm going to cross over the power lines one more time. I'm going to briefly stop here at the caisson and just show you that there continues to be work on the surface level to kind of reclaim this site, since most of the trailers and the equipment for the tunnel boring operation has been moved away, and looks like just the trailers are left, and you can see some other remaining materials as we just passed over. And I'm going to fly along, kind of trace down one of the autonomously driven Model Ys to about this point, and that'll continue over to the end of line facility. I wanted to stop and just pull back here and just show that they're using this overflow section for more of the Model Y premiums. I don't know what the rationale of using this spot rather than the parking areas, but I've seen that when all of a sudden we get a large number of vehicles taking up the lot, so maybe that's what they're preparing for. And as we're going to fly over this part and the superchargers, we'll get ready to bring the drone up, cross over the highway, and I want to look really briefly at the smaller caisson near the South Bridge. And as we bring the drone back down, we can tell the activity here, the trench boxes, and more work here to the north of the main site. But as we get into the main site, we can tell that more of the work is being done in this large excavation. More of the pipes or the spreader bars to keep the walls from collapsing in have been added. And a great shot of those I-beams where the metal sleeves are put down in between the I-beams. And of course, the view of the caisson itself. I'm not going to be able to show you inside today, but we had a great view on my previous video. So I'm going to fly back to the north along this road here on the west side of the berm and just give you a quick look at the fact that almost all of the pipe work has been completed all throughout this section. We saw some purple pipes being laid out, and that may be for irrigation, which means we may see more of this green grass matting being applied. On the bottom of the screen, we see perimeter fence continues around the flagpoles. And there's a few openings left over. And then here is a display that's being put out with the Tesla solar roof, small kind of structure, some more vehicles, and there's some construction being done by that west main entrance yet again. We just saw a couple of Model Ys, looks like premiums, that have exited the factory here. And that work and production continues about Monday through Thursday, 12-hour shifts. And of course here, the perimeter fence being added back in. And finally, more materials are being delivered to this platform, lifted up by the crane and moved inside. This is the structural pack part of the factory, and that is most likely more equipment to continue to build out that production capability. So that will be a quick view here of Giga-Texas on this day, which is the big day with the third quarter financial results meeting. That'll be held here at 4:30 today at Central Daylight Time. That's 21:30 UTC. And make sure you check out the ir.tesla.com site so you can participate. As always, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Have a great day.